Let's look at stem and leaf diagrams. So stem and leaf diagrams are a visual way of representing a set of data. So we're told to draw a stem and leaf diagram for the following data. Now when we're drawing a stem and leaf diagram, the first thing we should ensure is that the data is ordered from smallest to biggest. And so in this case we have the data which is ordered from the smallest value, which is 1, to the largest value, which is 54. We start by drawing the stem, and the numbers we insert depend on the set of values that we have. So in this case we see that all of these values have tens and units. So 1 has 0 tens and it has 1 unit, 17 has 1 10 and it has 7 units, 44 has 4 tens and it has 4 units, and so on. So since all of these numbers have tens and units, we should start by writing the tens in the stem. So we draw a line going down to represent our stem, and now we have the numbers for the tens. So the first 10 would be 0, since we have single digit numbers. The next 10 would be 1, the next 10 would be 2, 3, and we would go all the way up to the largest number that we have, which has 5 tens. Now we have the stem, we can now write our leaves going through each of the numbers in order from smallest to biggest. So the first number is 1, it has 0 tens and it's the smallest number that is single digit, so we write 1. The next number is 4, it has 0 tens and so we can write 4, and the next number after that is 4 again, it has 0 tens, so we write 4. Now this first leaf is complete because we've written all the numbers that have 0 tens into the stem and leaf diagram. For the next leaf, we will look at the numbers that have a single 10. So that's 14 and 17. And again, writing these numbers in order, we have 4 and we have 7. So this makes 14 and 17. Then move on to the numbers that have 2 tens. So that's 25, 25, 26 and 29. And again, writing these in order, we place the single units inside. So 5, 5, 6 and 9. We then check for any numbers that have 3 tens. And since our data doesn't contain any numbers that have 3 tens, we can skip this leaf. We then move on to the numbers that have 4 tens, so that's 41, 44, 48, 48, and 48 again. And finally, we look at the numbers that have 5 tens, which is 54. Now that we have written all of the numbers into the stem and leaf diagram, we finish off by writing a key. So a key explains how we read a number off of the stem and leaf diagram. We can choose any number we like, and all we need to do is explain what the number means. So in this case, if I choose 25, I would write 2, which is in the stem, a line to represent the stem and leaf diagram separation, and then a 5 to indicate the units. So 2 with a line and 5 means 25. And we only require one number, since once we have written this, all other numbers can be read by using this key. Let's draw a stem and leaf diagram for the second set of data. So in this case, we see that all of the numbers have 100 in them, and then they have tens and units. So to draw the stem and leaf diagram in this case, we would again start by drawing a straight line to represent the stem. And now all of these numbers have 100 in them, so we would write 1 to represent 100. So if we wrote 1 and 0, this would represent 100 and 0 tens. And if we wrote 1 and 1, this would represent 100 and 1 10. And so we can carry on going like this until we cover all of the numbers that we have. So the largest number we have has 106 tens, so we should go all the way down to 1 and 6. So we have 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 4, 1 and 5, 1 and 6. We should ensure that the numbers are written in order from smallest to largest, which in this case they are, and so we can now place the units in this diagram. First number is 102, which has 2 units. The next number is 103, which has 3 units. Then moving on, we have 114, so that's 100, 110, and 4 units. 116, which is 6 units. 117, which has 7 units. Then moving on to 120, we place a 0. Moving on to 134, 137, place a 7. 149, place a 9. 108, place an 8. And 163, place a 3. We write a key to explain how we read off the numbers from this stem and leaf diagram. So again, choosing any number, in this case I'll choose 134, then we have 1, 3, a line and 4, which means 134. In this final set of data we have decimals, and we see that each of these decimals go up in tens. So 20.2, 30.7, 40.9 and so on. Let's check that the numbers are ordered from smallest to biggest, and they are. And so we can now draw in our stem by representing it with a straight line. And then we have 20, we have 30, and we carry on going in tens. We then have the tenths after the decimal point for each of these numbers. 20.2 has 2 tenths, 30.7 has 7 tenths, 40.9 has 9 tenths, and that repeats 3 times, has 2 tenths. There are no numbers that start with 60 or 70, 80.7, which has 7 tenths. To complete our stem and leaf diagram, we write in a key which tells us how to read off the numbers from this diagram. So choosing any number, in this case I'll choose 80.7. So 80 with a line and then 7 means 80.7. So generally speaking, when drawing a stem and leaf diagram, we should write in a single digit in the leaves, and the rest of the place values should go in the stem. And we should always include a key to explain how to read a number from each of the stem and leaf diagrams that we draw.